So guys, all of the tone you just heard in that little clip there was directly from the Boss GT-1000. Now, I've had this unit now for about 2 months. I must say a big thank you to Boss for sending it out for me. Yeah, I'm blown away. It was a little bit of a nervous step for me to take, being a traditional kind of amp and pedal board guy. Moving into the digital world was a little bit scary, shall we say. But no, so far, I mean, I am blown away. One thing which I've noticed with this compared to some of the other modelers which are out there is the feel. Now, you know what I mean if you're into this kind of thing. When you play a tube amp, there's a certain feel in terms of the touch and the dynamics that I think a lot of modelers struggle to replicate or get close to, even in some instances. But this seems to be the closest thing to that for me. I mean, like I say, I've had it for 2 months. I've done a ton of gigs, quite a few fly gigs as well. What's perfect about this is it's super light and it's really small. You can fit it in a backpack if you've got a big enough backpack and just basically take it on as carry-on. In fact, with EasyJet, I've managed to get this into a backpack and I've managed to get the Strandberg on the plane, both as carry-on, if I've got that speedy boarding thing or, you know, priority boarding. It's just amazing to think that I've got my whole rig just on my back, essentially. But yeah, it's super durable as well, I've noticed. I mean, I don't tend to treat gear with, like some people will, where, you know, you can't even blow on it kind of thing. Yeah, I'm quite heavy-handed and this seems super durable. What else can I say about it? In fact, I shouldn't say anything about it. We should just dig into some of the tones. First of all, I want to look at how I actually control this thing, because there are a number of ways in which you can do it. Like I say, being a traditional kind of amp pedal guy, there is a certain way in which I like to use this. So yeah, let's dig into some of the sounds and take a look at how the whole thing works. So before we actually listen to any of the sounds that I've dialed into the GT-1000, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the different ways in which you can control the unit. But first, let's take a look at how it will look when it first comes out of the box then. So if we look down here, we've got the patch name over here. Is This Love? I'm sure you can imagine why that is called that. We'll take a listen to those sounds later on. But first, let's just scroll through the page section then. So again, that's just another name. Now, this is the most important area of the GT-1000, at least for me, in terms of controlling the unit. But for now, let's just scroll through so that you see everything inside here. Now we have, this is just the effects chain essentially. So we've got our amps, we've got all kinds of pedals in the front, pedals in the back. And then on the final page, we have the output section you can see here. It's just a continuation of the previous page essentially. Anyway, like I say, this is the most important area. So in order to see the different ways we can control it then, we'll have to go into menu down here and then we'll click on control mode here. Now there are 3 different ways we can control the GT-1000. We have memory mode, which is the default one. We have manual, and then we have pedal board mode. Now one of these in particular is the one which I like to use, and we'll get into that in a second. But first of all, let's take a look at the default one then, which is memory mode. So in memory mode then, these buttons work in a different way to the other controller modes. So we start from the bottom then, we have the number buttons 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These essentially control or change our saved presets or patches. So here we have this one, there's another one, etc. Let's go back to my one down here on 1. If we wanted then to go up to another bank of patches, all we would do was click this one and then click 1. Or let's just go back down again to the original one here. Now in this mode you have 3 controller options. So these are set quite specifically on this one to a channel selector on channel 1. So there's the clean patch, or cleanish patch if you like. There's the channel 2 of the amp if you like, and then on controller 2 I've just got a distortion pedal. And then controller 3 is actually just a tuner, which I think is the default actually, hence the label underneath saying tuner here. It's worth pointing out, I absolutely love the tuner on the GT-1000. It's super bright and it's really, really accurate. I believe you can set it up in polyphonic mode as well, so you can basically play all 6 strings. I don't think I've got that set up at the minute, but yeah, that's just another cool feature. And finally, this by default is the volume pedal. Of course, you can set that to loads of different crazy things, wahs, whammies, etc. later on. Anyway, this is then the default mode, memory mode, and I guess that's what people will be most inclined to go for when they first use the GT-1000. Like I say, there's a different mode I prefer to use. Now, I don't know whether this comes from me being kind of traditional in the sense that I like to use an amp and pedals, or, well, before I got this, essentially. But that just seems an easier and more logical way to do it for me. Now, you would think then I would choose pedalboard mode down here. I couldn't seem to get that to work in the way which I wanted to. So for me, it's actually manual mode. Now, why? Well, essentially, these bottom 5 buttons, instead of being patch controllers now, or, you know, like cycling through our presets, these are extra stomp boxes, if you like. So as you can see down here, I have a delay pedal, I have a reverb pedal, and then I actually have a chorus, tremolo, and on this one I actually have a harmonizer, hence Is This Love? But you can assign then the bottom 5 pedals to anything you like, and it's more like having a pedal board in front of an amp. You could also change control 3 to something else. It doesn't have to be the tuner. I just prefer to have that there for easiness sake. Now in this case, what you could do is you could put 2 rigs that you like next to each other. So say on this one, I could go down here to, this is another patch I've created, the basic blues set. And it's, again, the same thing. So for example, on this one, I actually have a pedal here that's going to change what goes on with this controller. So instead of being a volume pedal now, this is now a wah. So yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense to me anyway, coming from a more traditional old school way. So now that you can see how I control the GT-1000, let's take a look at what some of these patches actually sound like then. They sound awesome. So very quickly, I just want to point out that most of the editing of these patches that I do tends to be in the app on the desktop. You can also do it on your phone, which is super handy via Bluetooth. If say you want to change things on the fly at a gig, that's really cool. But yeah, it's just a little bit more user-friendly than the actual unit itself, I find anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about what's going on in individual patches. I'm just going to try and play as much for you guys as possible so that you get a feel of what these actually sound like. So in this patch, this is on this Is This Love patch again. I'm just using the clean amp at the minute, and I've got some delay and reverb on there. As you can see over here, it says that this is a boutique amp. This sounds wicked to my ears. So. I really like that. I will point out one thing, Leon Todd, I actually learned this from watching some of his videos with the unit. This sag control over here seems to be where all the responsiveness comes from. And I mean, that to me feels like a tube amp. Do I have on this patch then? So I have some chorus. It sounds very 80s. that is, I guess, the name, or the clue is in the name of the patch. So you can see down here, I just have a stereo chorus on the go. That sounds really nice to my ears. I also have a tremolo, which before actually using this unit, I never really discovered the beauty of this effect. And now I can say I'm absolutely obsessed with tremolos. That just sounds lush to my ears. Now, the other thing on the bottom along here is I have a harmonizer. Now, if we go over here, you can see why. It's just a third, and it's in the key of G major or E minor. Now, the reason for this is that I do have one gig here where we play this tune, and yeah, as the only guitarist, I've got to try and make it work. This seems to be the closest I can get that to. So yeah, I mean, this sounds like this. Perfect. Especially if I put on the distortion pedal up here, which is just an X distortion, I believe. Yeah. So this. For a second, let's just listen then to what that overdrive pedal sounds like. This is my go-to lead tone on this patch. I will point out here as well, if I roll down the volume, so it cleans up really nicely, which is exactly how I'd expect a tube amp to work. Reminds me a little bit of that Andy Timmons tone on, you know, that tune. And the dynamics, which is exactly what I want from, you know, the modelling unit. I'm trying to emulate that tube amp sound, like I said. Now the other, or the final control I have on here on this patch is a channel selector. Now I do believe that is changing the amp type. So before, like I say, we had the boutique amp. Now I think we're using so this is like British stack, like it says here, so essentially like a Marshall, I guess. It's got that 80s rock kind of distortion. That is a kind of guilty pleasure. yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a 80s rhythm shredder, but yeah, that's kind of the tone I'm going for there. Maybe we should take a look then at another preset or pedal board setup that I've got, if you like. So we go down a bank. I am now into what I've titled my basic blues setup. So if we look here then now, the amp has changed. Now this is just a deluxe combo. You can imagine what that's emulating. Totally different clean. Like I say, this is more for a blues setup, so sounds cool for that guy. Old school blues setup. Now I do have on here a few different pedals, so I actually have a tap tempo delay. You won't see that there, but essentially if I wanted to, I could tap in that on control 1. I have a chorus, again. Sounds wicked. I also have a boost, so if you can imagine what's a typical use of this. So that sounds a little bit thin and I feel like I need some support, so I'll click on this one. It's just got a little bit of a push. If we take a look, what actually is that? Yeah, it's just a clean boost. And it just gives me, especially in solos with blues stuff where I don't necessarily want to use an overdrive, that is the perfect solution. Let's just have a little listen to that actually. Sounds cool. We've also got an overdrive, which is over here. It's really dirty actually, that. What is that? Let's take a look. We have just a blues OD, this one's called. And the last kind of pedal I have on this setup is a wah, which sounds lush if you've got. vibes when I rediscovered the water pedal the other day. Yeah, it sounds lush. So yeah, I mean, there's just 2 basic pedalboard setups that we can use. I mean, the options are limitless here. You can add in tons of effects. That's just some of the ways in which I like to use it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed some of the sounds that you heard there. And I hope you're kind of pleasantly surprised as well. I mean, I know I was. Sometimes Boss used to have this connotation, I think, of being slightly behind some of the other competitors. But now I think it's right up there. In terms of feel, anyway, for me, that's the best unit. Yeah, next time you're in a shop, be sure to try it out. I'm sure those patches which I've created will be available via the Tone Studio thing soon. I just need to get in touch with the guys. Yeah, if you've got any questions about the unit, please feel free to ask. And I'll answer as truthfully as I can about it, whether that's on Instagram or in the comments here. And yeah, if you have a favourite sound there, please do let me know down in the comments section. I'm always interested to know what you guys think. Anyway, until next time, I'm out of here. See you later, guys.